I went to see some friends from secondary school last night, and we just went to this Spoons in Ipswich, like where we went to school, and this was kind of this pub was like a a place that we'd go to like when we all turned 18, and like we'd go for drinks there, and so it was quite nostalgic to be back there on a kind of quiet Ipswich night on a Friday. The evenings are longer now, so the sun was kind of setting, and there was kind of coldness in the air, and it's quite surreal seeing your old friends from secondary school. But it did make me think quite a lot about that period of my life when I was at secondary school, and particularly that era from like 16 to 18, because there was something about that time that, compared to a lot of my life afterwards, has felt quite kind of that period of my life felt so colourful and so intense. Like those are the two words that I'd use to describe it. Like, just really everything, particularly like the emotional aspect of it. Just everything felt like it was just turned up, like on 10 times volume, compared to everything afterwards. It's funny. It's like kind of when you're a very young kid and you just kind of get joy from running around a ballpark. Just like the simplest things, and like everything seems so much more colourful. And I think there's another kind of comparison to be made of like when you're a teenager to like when you're in your 20s, of like the world when you're a teenager just seems so intense. That's really weird. I just reflect back on university life, and in a sense, like there was a lot of crazy moments there as well, but there was definitely something about being at school that was just particularly colourful and rich. And it's funny because I would just chalk that up to like, oh, that's how life is, nothing you can do about it. Except that I recently had this job working for a door-to-door sales company, and it was really, really hard work. Like, it was really tough. I was really pushed to my limits, and I eventually made the difficult decision to quit. And I remember sort of deciding to quit and sort of looking back on all the experiences I'd had, and I remember thinking like, hang on a minute, like how I was in secondary school, like I had the same sort of feeling working for that sales job. Like that sales job was as emotionally gripping, as emotionally intense as when I was at school. Mainly because it was just so difficult, and it was just so much hard work that you really were pushed to your limits. But what I got from that was that actually it's not a case of just like, this is something that can be engineered, right? And it's not that there was just something about secondary school that is irrevocable that made it so intense, but rather there's a sort of beautiful alchemy to your life that you can sort of make, where you live life in that kind of with that childlike energy. You get that sort of childlike energy back. And I think the most easy way to do this is just to just push yourself at your edge, basically. It's funny because I think you get a lot of things for free when you're a teenager. You can eat really unhealthily and you'll still be quite skinny. I remember when I was like 16 and after school we'd just go to like the off license, and we'd just buy like a whole packet of like those sort of wafer biscuits, and I'd just go back to the bus and just eat the entire thing. and just without any sort of feeling that it was bad for me. You know, like you just get away with. I think there's a lot that's given to you for free when you're that age, like sort of your health, like your, you know, you don't have to do so much. Like, yeah, I don't know, but my point is one of these things is your purpose and your destiny. Like I think when you're that age, a lot of that's taken care of for you. Like it's quite easily to have a rich life because, let's face it, you're 16 and you're horny as fuck and your life just becomes about girls basically, and you're in a school environment where you're constantly surrounded by girls and you're introduced to alcohol for the first time and all this stuff. Like my point is, it's quite easy to lead like an exciting, rich life when you're a kid, but when you're a teenager, because like it's all just put on a plate for you. It's like girls, alcohol, and you know, yeah, that's enough to be getting on with, frankly. But the trouble is, like, you go to university and you basically burn that all out within like 3 months. Like you push it right to the max, and you get just about everything that you're going to get out of that experience. And that's kind of the point where people go, yeah, God, there was something about that time in my life where it, you know, life was just so intense, life was so exciting, and now life's boring. But I think it's like, no, you've just finished that sort of era of your life, and now it's time to find something else. You need to find another mission that is as exciting and as intense, and sort of that elicits the same sort of childlike energy of curiosity and fascination with the world that women and alcohol once did, you know. And I think for me, honestly, just having 4 months of just knocking on people's doors in the freezing cold, and just meeting all these other people who are doing it, and just going through these really shit experiences with them, where we just have days where none of us were making any money and it was freezing, and we were just going through parts of London that were just not safe at all. And you know, there's something about that experience that's what it took to get that sort of childlike energy back. And I just think all these people that kind of complain about, oh, you know, life isn't fun anymore, you know, oh, I'm just, you know, I'm bored, you know, I'm not a teenager anymore, stuff like that. It's like, that's not an excuse, unfortunately. Like, you can get that, if you really are annoyed about it, like, you can get that energy back, that desire for exploration back again. I mean, frankly, I think back in the day, people would just have kids, and that's enough of an experience to elicit that childlike energy, that sort of energy of exploration that's pushing you to your edge. But, you know, society doesn't really work like that anymore, and, you know, maybe the solution is just to get married and have kids, but I don't think it has to be, you know. I think really it's just about finding something that captures your attention the way that women and alcohol does when you're a teenager, you know. Because otherwise you just get stuck kind of getting the same hit out of something that's just never going to reward you like it used to, you know. And that's another thing that people always say is like, time goes a lot quicker when you're not having novel experiences. You know, it's very easy to think, but they're not really put into action, you know. So the key really, what I'm basically saying is you just got to find ways to open yourself up again, to find that creativity and that excitement in your life. Because otherwise your life just really feels like a waste. And that is such a sad thing, because our time on Earth is so fleeting and it's so precious, and it's just so sad if you don't find something that gets you back in that state of excitement gets you excited about life again, and you know, you get to ride that roller coaster again. That's not always good. That's the thing. Like I look back at school, and I would honestly say like about 80% of it I just hated. I absolutely hated. But there's just that 20% that was just, I felt like I was just like, I ruled the world. You know, there's just a minute, you just get those moments where you just feel like you are on top of the world. And it's the fact that there are those experiences that you have that are completely unmarried. You can't unmarry them from the negative experiences that make you think fondly of times gone by and make you want to go and relive them, you know. But my point is, all of life's like that. It's put on a plate for you when you're younger. Like, it's much easier to find. As you get older, it's a bit harder. So yeah, there you go, guys. It's been a pleasure. I actually have, like, if you enjoy this kind of content and you like what you've heard here, you want to find out more, I am doing one-on-one coaching at the moment. So if you are interested, I've got a link down below. Just book like a free session with me. We can talk about like what your goals are on self-improvement. You know, maybe you've listened to this video and you think, oh, actually, you know what, I really want to find something that like re-elicits that kind of childish excitement in me. Get in touch. I can talk you through it. Hold you accountable, set you some goals, and we can go from there. Just book a session below. But otherwise, guys, thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next one.